My favorite series, 10 for 10 Women of the Hobby. And I got to be honest, man, I've been looking forward to this. So, if you guys don't know, in what's it been, 18 months since Laura Don Diego started her, your page, your content, you're an influencer, and you're hands down the fastest growing page on the internet. So, I'm excited for today's episode because I think your story can inspire a lot of girls, women in the hobby, and men in the hobby, frankly, to finally go all in on their dreams, right? So I'm not going to do one of those long introductions. You guys know who she is. It's 40 seconds. You know who she is. And I want to get to know you a little bit better on this episode, okay? So without further ado, Don Diego, welcome to the show. Welcome
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me.
Love it.
So what's good?
What's good? I don't know. Everything.
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna just make her just come up with what's good in the world. We don't have.
I have my questions.
This is my podcast now.
That's it. You can talk about whatever you like. Go for it.
I don't know. Things are going super fast. Shows are ramping up, and I found myself going to more shows. So I never thought I'd see myself, I guess, traveling to card shows as much in my lifetime. So it's been kind of crazy, and yeah, things are going really well.
So I'll start off with something. I know you got a list of questions, Andrew, but it's compliment wise, but it piggybacks on. We just had breaks with Jess on. Jess,
yes, I saw her.
And, from Bleecker. I mean, a great episode. And guys, if you haven't listened to that, please go back and listen. You want to talk about Andrew asking his origin stories? This is the first one we've had that involves Brussels sprouts. So, you never know where we're going to take the show, but, it was a good time. But she spoke about you. And, this whole series, the 10 for 10, it kind of comes out of a movement in the hobby, right? And, what I saw over at Mint Collective, we came back and Andrew actually this was his idea based on, what I mentioned to him from Mint Collective and just kind of where the hobby is moving, where we think it should continue to move. We'd like to speed that up a little bit. But Jess's story about your trade night, we've been to trade nights. I mean, we've been to Bleecker a lot of times. Your trade night was very different, right? And I think it's a combination of you and Jess planning it out, putting it together, having some forethought, and doing everything from the front sign, the artwork. I mean, I don't get the Persian thing, but we'll talk about that in a second. The cards that were made up that you were able to autograph to have, give out to kids. What was that like? Did you actually go in and plan it? Was there more planning that went into it? And guys, let's take notes because I mean, I get asked to occasion night, a trade night. I show up, it's just fat me. I just show up. It's like, hey guys, it's trade night.
Where's the pizza and the soda?
Yeah, where's my pizza? I don't care about everybody else's pizza. Where's my pizza? But you did it and you did it right. And Jess, I mean, she was being modest when we said what was your favorite trade night. She didn't want to say that because she kind of planned it.
Oh my god,
clearly.
She did plan all of it. Like me and her, we were on like several Zoom calls with the whole crew and whatever. Jess went above and beyond. Like it was unreal. She made it down anything I wanted to every single detail. Like she had it there. It was ready. She absolutely killed it. It was definitely different than other trade nights. I've been to a couple at Bleecker before. And like you said, it's just like a bunch of fat dudes walking around eating pizza.
Love it. That's it. That's the hobby. By the way, clip that. Our guys, a bunch of fat dudes eating pizza. There we go. Yes. Laura's version of the hobby, folks. Clip it now. Boom.
My version. No, but I like with women just in general, like my birthday parties are going to be a lot different than yours. Like we do things, I guess, like a little bit extra. So it like down to the detail, like the sign out front with me and the Persian. And like we hired people to make these graphics for us. Like we went all out for it. So it was an event that had a couple unique layers to it. Also, we had the box break that I did there, signings. We also did almost like an art gallery before that with all my collection that I brought out. So I think that was a little different. I don't know if they had done that before. So we had 2 hours prior where I brought all of my slabs and my cards, and we kind of like people were able to walk around and just like look at them and enjoy them. And then we moved to the other room where we had the train night, the box break, and all that fun stuff. So it was epic, and Jess did an amazing job.
So here's my thought. I think you're paving the way for a lot of women in the hobby. In our show, we've done 630 plus episodes. We really do try to add value and help the audience, right? So you're doing something that's really working. And I'm curious, you don't have to share all your secrets, but if you could, people who are starting out in the space, who want to create content, who want to have their page grow, could you share a little bit of what's working for you?
Yeah. I don't know if you're going to like this answer, but there's no secret. Like, I have just been myself. And I think that's the biggest, it sounds lame and it sounds corny, but like just being yourself, because if you don't, it's just people can see right through you. I feel like if you're not being authentic, and if I were to come on here and pretend to know, stuff about like baseball cards or this, like, you're not going to buy it. Like, no one's going to buy it.
Like, LeBron's going to win a championship this year. Not going to happen. They just missed the playoffs. I agree.
So I think, just, again, as lame as it sounds, you have to just be yourself, do your research. Like, I spend most of my mornings, like, just looking at cards, looking at eBay, just like taking in research in the field. I don't know, I guess you could call it so just be authentic to yourself. I posted, you have to have some type of discipline, I guess, for it. Like, I went all in on this. I stopped doing what I was doing, and I did this full time. So that also helps if you have the ability to do this full time and put like your all into it, post on a daily schedule and try to find something that is unique that other people aren't doing. So like, it's easy to churn out the same type of content that everyone's doing, right? Just like posting pictures of your cards in like a light box. Like, that's great. It's eye candy, but like, you need to have like a unique twist on it and do something that no one else is doing. So I kind of found that for myself, and it's worked.
Was it October 2020 is when you started?
I started, I think, I want to say like around Christmas of 2020. What are we in? 2022, 2021. It's been like just over a year for me.
Any like, because I think first time we met, you guys don't know, we've done like 3 episodes that haven't worked out, where there have been like internet issues.
Total.
They've all been on my fault. And that was when we had you on super early on.
My
and
God,
I wish we could have aired it.
Yeah.
Were you working a corporate job and then you were just like, I'm done with this, I'm going all in? Was that the story?
Think so when we last talked, by the way, I had like probably 1,000 followers. So thank you guys for like believing in me and wanting to even talk to me. That's awesome. So
I'm a simp, so what can I do?
Listen, it by the way, it's another lesson, just to piggyback on your answer, right? I mean, you were doing things that people weren't doing at the time, right? You were doing Pokemon when a lot of people weren't doing Pokemon yet. You changed from just showing off your cards to you started doing the box. Remember, you had like a case. Let me go in. How many count them?
Yes.
Remember, you used to do that. And those were the things that so you can always go back to it. It's always go back to your roots. But even though you only had 1,000 followers, it did catch Andrew's eye, and he's like, "Look, she's doing something very different than what people are doing right now. Let's have her on the show." Yeah. And look at how it turns around. Now you're more popular than us by a long shot. So now, but you know what? When Andrew reaches out and says, "Oh, 10 for 10 with the women," we don't get Lauren's too big for us now. We get I remember you guys. You reached out to me when I was not as big, and
and like that goes a long way, right? Like that really that goes a long way with me. And I remember everyone, by the way, that like is still around. Like, still, I answer everyone's DMs as much as I can. Whoever DMs me, like, I appreciate it, and I remember it, and I remember who was there and who believed in me from like the very start. So you guys are definitely one of them. I think you were my second podcast I'd ever been on. So yeah.
By the way, we're hearing a lot of that, and that should change.
Right.
Really should change. We're hearing almost every one of our guests. They're saying almost that first, second, you name it, and to anybody out there who's listening who has a platform, let's change that, because you got to just listen. I'm loving this series. I mean, the episodes have a completely different flow, and come on, like I said, I learned about potatoes, tomatoes, and Brussels sprouts on one of them. I didn't know we were going to go there, right? So I mean, it's definitely been a breath of fresh air. So with that, and Andrew's got a list of questions.
Well, I'm curious because, I mean, what has it been like? So 14 months, right? And now you share the stage with DJ Ski, Cassius Marsh. I remember at National, I think Ronaldinho was there, and I was like, "Yo, Ken, like, Don Diego wants to get something signed." You're like,
yeah.
I know Ken. You're like,
you're like, I know him.
But the point is, like, it always felt like he belonged, and I'm curious, like, do you get stage fright, right? Do you
Oh my
kind of
God.
get that? You do? You get that a
Like,
little bit of
the worst. Like, I will tell you why it's been so hard for you to like even get me on the podcast. I am like, as much as this is going to sound crazy, it seems natural to me when you view my content and my videos. Like, I am such a quiet person. Like, I was so shy when I was younger. Like, I wouldn't talk to anybody. Like, I would hide behind my parents' legs. Like, I was a very, very shy person. And I would skip my freaking college, like, you know, what do they call, like, the presentations, the public speaking. Like, I don't go to that. I'll take the letter grade down just to not do that type of stuff. So I have grown in the most insane way, like, personal growth, like, forget Instagram followers and that type of stuff. Like, the personal growth I've seen because of this hobby for myself has been like incredible and life-changing. So definitely doesn't come easy. It takes a lot of practice, and it's very weird for me to like talk to a camera alone. But yeah.
I have a question that's kind of going to come from left field, I think. So, stick with me. I don't know how you'll answer it. But there's a hobby debate, collector versus investor, which I'm wondering whether you even get involved in. And here's why. If Pokemon's different, right? We've talked to people about Pokemon, right? And Pokemon, we've had people on, their kids gravitate towards Pokemon. Sarah Layton, we had a conversation with her about it too, and how, people go there because of the price. People go there because of the price point. So my son will open Pokemon 24/7 if he can. And it's just because it's shiny and it's fun. And, I know that character, and now he's doing some other crazy shiny stuff.
What's he opening up today, Cage?
Naruto.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
Boxes of Naruto. I didn't want to give that away. I wanted to stockpile that, but Andrew, thank you very much. I want to corner the market.
Audience, Cage.
I want to corner the market now before that went out there. But now it's too late. Now it's too late. But I guess the fun thing is that with Pokemon, there are expensive cards. There are very expensive cards. And then there's entry level stuff that people can still get into. So there is clearly a investor and a collector, but I don't see the same type of like, I want to be an investor. I want to be I don't see like the whole like Montague and Capulet thing go on in that world that you do here. I mean, what's your take?
I do think it's a little different. It's hard. I don't know though, because I don't know much about like the sports side of it. So it's tough to answer, but it's definitely less like the people I follow. I think it is more investy versus collecty in the sports world, where Pokemon's like, you get like looked down on. I feel like if you call yourself an investor, like you're supposed to be like a true collector, or not a flipper, but like, dude, like this is my job. I collect cards, and that's like my personal collection that like I'll never sell, but like this is my job, so call it whatever you want, invest. I don't know, but it's
you gotta make money.
Different. Yeah.
You're not doing this for free.
Hell no. Exactly. We're making money.
That's right. 100%.
But also like sports has been around way longer than Pokemon has. So if you think about it, like where will Pokemon be in the next 20 years? How like, I might sound really stupid here. The Honus Wagner, is that right? That card? Yeah. Like that's a baller, old, like really expensive card, and Pokemon just isn't that old yet. So like it's exciting to think if we will catch up to sports in terms of value.
I'm a good measuring stick. I'm older than Pokemon, but I'm slightly younger than Honus Wagner.
Okay, just slightly though.
Slightly, yes.
Yeah.
Cage, on that same topic, like the hobby has this very visceral reaction to influencers, like Gary. I'm curious, when like Logan, he wore that the Pikachu Illustrator. Mm-hmm. What was the Pokemon space saying? Like, what was kind of like the undercurrent of that? Was it like, he's just pumping his card, or is this is good for us?
Both, literally split. Both. People hate it, but why do you hate it? Do you hate it because like you can't get it? Like I heard an interesting podcast yesterday where they were like, would you buy it even if it was $5,000? Like, what is stopping you from buying that card? Is it because it's $5 million? I don't think so. But it's very 50-50. I think it's awesome. Like Logan Paul went out and he's, in WWE now wearing a iced out chain of the Illustrator card. Like that's epic. I'm sorry. If you can't laugh at that and like think that's epic, then you're taking it way too seriously.
Cage thinks he'd make a good heel. He liked his splits.
He was
working on a split now.
He was awesome. And I'm not even a big WrestleMania fan, but people who go into this, like I've seen people wrestle who don't practice or don't do it, like all the way back to WrestleMania 1, man. I mean, Mr. T was in it. And while he's an athlete and he was able to do it, he wasn't doing what, I mean, it wasn't the best. And I know people hate him and he got booed, but like he was doing a great suplex. Like he was athletic. He was jumping over people, I mean, he was, three of them in a row, and he flipped up and just kept, I mean, it was.
I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Listen, here's the thing, right? It's the same kind of thing that Drake brought, right? People hated it and people loved it, right? You want eyeballs to it. And, we can't be that picky.
You do know Laura is like the biggest Drake fan.
Number one.
I couldn't tell, but I saw there was one right after the break. She showed up there and she had her head on his shoulder. I'm like, wow.
That's crazy, yeah.
I just showed
Ken Instagram live Logan Paul and it went to like 20,000 followers.
Yeah.
Then Logan Paul dropped out. He Instagrammed Don Diego, went to like 100K right there.
Yeah, Drake is like, that was, people were saying even with that, like, this is awful for the hobby. Like, why?
Yeah,
Why? It's so cool. It's Drake. Are you kidding me?
I mean, I guess the fear is people come in and then, if somebody like Drake gets ripped off, then it becomes a public ripoff. And somebody like him doesn't make any money in this or whatever it is. But people, you got to realize, Drake's not coming in breaking flawless because he wants to flip the cards.
Right.
You
like,
know what I mean?
Genuinely wants the card that he was looking for.
Yeah, Logan Paul's not wearing a $5 million necklace at WrestleMania because he's hoping the next week he could sell it for $6. That's not what he's doing. It's different. It's a whole different mentality.
Yeah.
But go ahead.
So we had Mama Breaks on, and she said something really interesting, that this has really brought her and her husband a lot closer together. And I've been seeing recently, ever since we started the series, words of encouragement. Like Mark Christopher, I think Boston Authentic, he made a post today on Facebook about how his wife is his biggest supporter and how she really encourages him. And really what I found is a lot more women want to get into the hobby, sports cards, all that stuff. They just need a little bit of words of encouragement from people around them. And I don't know if people realize your brother is your business partner, right?
Yeah.
Like, can we give some love to Len? Like, he does a lot. And I'm curious how important his encouragement or his support or him as a business partner is for your success.
I would confidently say I probably wouldn't be here without him. And mainly that's because, well, first of all, he's a lot tougher than me. So every time I see like a bad comment and I'm like, F this, I don't want to do this anymore. He's like, man up, like do this. Everyone has something bad to say. So that's one thing, is like the comments on social media. The other thing is,
and someone called Andrew a slob too.
oh my God. That's
today's was the
offensive.
best. I mean,
That's
is
offensive.
it? Today I posted like, how are the Seinfeld guys in their 30s? Because they look like they're 65. And someone sent me, great episode. I still can't stand you though.
Yeah, that's what you get. I still can't stand it. It was a good episode, but I can't stand you.
That's
No, slob,
amazing.
which by the way I think is one of the funniest words in the world, and I will bring that up.
That's
We're
an awesome
almost
word.
700 episodes.
Bad
I'm
week.
gonna
I wore the same
1,000 episodes.
hoodie 3 times. I was having a tough week.
He's a slob.
That's
It was
awesome.
great.
I'm going to
So,
start calling you that too.
That's it. You're a slob.
Like another, what was I going to say? Another super important thing is going to shows. So I probably wouldn't go to half of the shows that I go to now without my brother, just because it's super intimidating. Like plain and simple, it's intimidating to go as a woman. We typically travel in packs, women, like whether it's like to the bathroom or like whatever. So like going to a completely like 95% male thing, like it's just intimidating to go. So I'm happy to have him come with me. So I don't think I'd be here without him. So that's like the one nice thing I'll say about my brother. He'll get that. It's fine.
Cage, I want to know what mean comments. I don't think I've
He's
seen
still
it.
thinking about that.
Yeah, like what do people really say?
They call you a slob. I love it. You want the mean comments for Laura? I can't imagine people being mean to her, but I'm sure. Listen,
people are
it's the
ruthless.
internet. It's the internet. You know what I mean?
The
People,
internet.
you're not going to be able to please everybody ever. We do, I think, pretty good job. But, we're probably at like 90%. But even that, the 10% is usually pretty damn loud.
Yeah.
So you've kind of expanded a little bit. You do a little meta zoo. You do like all kinds of fun stuff. Is anything else on the horizon? Tell us. I think you had a birthday coming up. You gonna turn? Is it 21 or 22?
21.
21. She's turning 21. Congratulations. Happy 21st, Laura. It's next week, right?
Yes, next week on Tuesday. So It's a big one. I never thought I'd be spending my birthday opening a box of Pokemon cards, but here we are. I'm gonna open up.
So it's funny, by the way. You started off. It was like a. I don't want to call it an insult. It was almost like backhanded. Where we were talking about the Bleecker thing, and you said girls do things differently than boys, right? And that my birthday and your birthday would look kind of different, and yet you're opening cards for your birthday.
That's true. All right,
out there.
That is true. It's all starting to.
That's it. It comes like a Seinfeld episode with 60-year-old, 30-year-olds. Yep. It all comes together.
That's hilarious.
So you're going to be at Whatnot? Their headquarters.
Mine will be a little bit prettier than yours would be probably, but yes, I'm going to be going out to LA to Whatnot headquarters to break a $30,000 box of Pokemon cards, and hoping to, I don't know, get the best pull. It's just the $20,000 Charizard. You can't ask for more.
What are you breaking?
It's the Expedition base.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a fun set. Pretty
nice. $30,000 box, Andrew. What do you think?
I want to ask her expert opinion because she knows Pokemon better than both of us. So Cage
does.
He was ahead of the curve on this. So 3 years ago, he was buying
and then behind it.
Yeah, it's interesting how it works. So he was buying all first edition PSA 10s. He wanted to complete the set. Okay. But instead of starting with the Zard, he started with with what
I could afford.
With what he could afford, little by little, right? And now he's completed the entire set. 80% he got below what the current sales are, but then he started chasing, Clefairy and Chansey and Mewtwo and all the other ones. And now he needs to get the Zard 10. And now he's thinking, does he complete the set? Does he sell off the set and buy the Zard? What would you do?
Like I got Blastoise at the PS10 Blastoise, a recent graded one. I got for $4,000, the PSA 10. A great price. But I didn't get all of them. I got all of the non-hollows, basically 17 to 103, very cheap.
By the way, you should see some of his DMs when he posted his Chansey.
The Chansey, I was an Instagram model.
So much love.
It was the DMs I got. People slide into your DMs for Chansey. Sure.
NFL coaches, NFL head coaches now, right?
Oh my God.
He's the offensive coordinator, but he's out now. He's moved into trophy cards.
Okay.
It's the evolution. It's the evolution of the Pokemon collector.
Yeah. So this is a no-brainer, obviously. You're not going to be able to live with yourself unless you complete the set.
But
how can you sleep at night if you're going to bail now?
Here's the wrinkle question.
You haven't come this far to only come this far.
Yes. I like that.
Does the set matter? And the B part of that question is, given what, now keep in mind, and you know this probably better than most, 420 is not a legit comp for Charizard. That Zard was gorgeous. It was the nicest Zard that was sold for the last 3 years. And it has a shot at a BGS 10, which is why somebody paid as much money as they did for it. But the one before it was 3 and change. It's not sitting at the 240 that it was. Zard has gone up. Mm-hmm. Do I sell the rest of the set and just buy the Zard?
No way.
Okay.
No brainer. No way. I can't even live with the fact that you would even think to do that. You got to complete the set. I don't care if it takes you 10 more years. You got to complete the set.
Well, you know this though. I mean, and maybe this is a difference between Pokemon and the sports cards. You don't even look at Logan Paul, right? He doesn't walk out to WrestleMania with a necklace with 103 cards on it. He walks out to WrestleMania with a necklace with 1 card on it, and it's always the Pikachu or the Charizard. He's not walking out there with Beedrill. You know what I mean? He's not walking out there, which is not even a bad one. I could give you Pokemon Center. That's not on anybody's necklace. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. You're right.
But so in what I feel is I've almost kind of got burned because I was ahead of it and I was way low on it. But then, I'm let me chase the set, and I find myself paying $23,000 for a PSA 10 Magneton. You know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, I was the Steve Aoki. I know you pals. I was the Steve Aoki. I was the top on that. I paid more than anybody for that. So
I think also it's what's your goal with it? Are you in it to make the most, add the most value to your collection, or are you just trying to enjoy it? Because if you're just trying to enjoy it, you gotta complete the set.
Goals kind of change though, don't they? You know what I mean? You might have got into MetaZoo for one thing and now you're into it for something else. Or Pokemon, you might have started collecting stuff that you knew and then you found the Sky Ridges or whatever else that you kind of liked, When I first got into it, it's because I thought it was going to be something to make money on because I thought it was an underappreciated segment of card collecting. I will say now my goal with the set is, my son still watches Pokemon, although I don't know if he's going to. He's moving into, like I said, other things. And my thought was I'll complete it and he can have it.
That's a nice little gift, yeah.
But I have no connection to Pokemon myself, which is weird because, there's like 11 of these complete sets in the world, and I'm pretty close to making like the 12th.
Yeah.
And Pokemon came, I was almost like 20 years old, when the first Japanese Pokemon stuff hit. I was old enough, like I was in law school when this set came out. Like I wasn't watching Pokemon. I don't have that same nostalgic connection to it.
Right.
So it's an interesting thing.
It is.
But you are the expert. You say finish the set. So never to be brought up again, Andrew. Finish the set.
Finish the set.
I think it's for yourself, like to finish what you start type of thing.
Yeah.
I'm curious. So
I do that at buffets.
You've come a long way with your brand.
So it's not always a good thing.
Laura, like you've come a long way with your brand. I'm not sure if this is what you expected from day one, if this has exceeded all your expectations, but like, what do you think 18 months from now looks like? Like, perfect case scenario, what would you want Don Diego Trading to be?
That is such a tough question. I hated when like my guidance counselors would ask me that stuff too.
See, Andrew never got to sit down with a guidance counselor. That's why he doesn't hate those questions.
I've never had any guidance. I'm just like a blind man out there trying to figure it out.
They just told him. They said, all right, if you're in 11th grade, if you can't make this soccer thing work, we want you to groom birds.
You played soccer?
I did.
He's
Me
an athlete, like a
Me
legit.
too.
I would like to have a 3-on-3 charity tournament at like one of these shows in like the Miami show.
I will smoke someone in soccer. I'm so good.
That's good. You should be on Andrew's team. He smokes stuff too.
Ever since you said 420, my whole episode is like derailed now. Like I don't even know what to ask anymore. 420, it's 2 weeks. Anyway,
412.
412, baby.
412 is the birthday.
It really is a tough question, and I'm sorry, I don't have all the perfect answers for your questions this episode.
Well,
but
wouldn't it be awesome if it was just? I mean, look, you've made leaps and bounds. You want to continue to grow that. I've seen some of your content. And I think, if I could have a wish for you for the next 18 months, it would be, I've seen when you're at shows, you take time for your fans, but I think you take a little extra time for the female fans. When the young girls come up, they take pictures, you talk to them about that kind of stuff. And, I think, especially with the following you have, what I would love to see for you over the next 18 months, not only continue what you're doing, but almost wear that like ambassador hat for, the women in the hobby. There are plenty of women in the hobby, but you have a heck of a following. You really do. You have a lot of people, and Sarah Layton has a huge following. It almost kind of like taking the lead because people do take you seriously. They do. I mean, you are a force in your area. So, that's what I would like to see for you for the next 18 months.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to go with that answer and then also add to kind of grow, I guess, more of my channels. Like I haven't really gone into YouTube yet. So if I could start like monetizing my content that I do and start, reaching more people, I think that would be great. Making maybe even like a weekly podcast or something like a show where I don't know, there's like a topic every week to talk about, just something like that. And then hopefully, just like times 10, everything that I'm doing right now, just to kind of see that.
I think you would crush under the Barstool umbrella.
Oh yeah.
If that's even like something you would think about. Like
I would think about, like with the companies though, it's so tough. Like once you're actually getting into it, there's like exclusivity that comes with all of them. And it's so hard to manage like what I can and can't do anymore. So like, I've turned down a lot of deals just because of that, because I am still like fast tracking and I'm like firing up right now. So I'm like still kind of like believing in myself to get there. But I think once you get like super up there, you can kind of get around some of those things. So would definitely, like be in the scope of things, in the future.
By the way, very important info there for anybody who's coming up, right? Anybody who's building their own brand, right? Well, not believing in yourself is key, but you don't have to get tied down to anybody. The exclusivity stuff is something that could actually wind up capping your 100%. Influence, capping your brand. And what she said is actually very, very smart.
Yes. And that I learned, I guess I could say like the hard way, but also very lucky. My brother, who's my business partner, is also a lawyer. So I have him to look over all my contracts and stuff. And he tells me like, hell no, like this is absolutely awful. How can you sign it? And meanwhile, I'm looking at it like, this is amazing. I'm going to sign it right now. And like, it's tough. You just don't know better. Like I've never like gotten these contracts before in my life. Like I was doing something totally different before this. So it's tough. It's a whole new world. My
brother's a lawyer too. And I think we have a good dynamic, Cage. I think we definitely do have a good dynamic. I'm curious. So like most of our audience, 95% is probably sports fans. What are some good Pokemon pages that you might want to shout out or, people should follow for more education on
Her own,
TCG?
just her own. That's it.
Oh, of course.
Just Don Diego.
That's it.
No, well, now I have to like look at my phone. That's a toughie.
E4, guys, if you're not on it, just lurk for a little while. EFOUR. But
that's some type of Discord channel in there. I keep quiet in there, but
it's tough. I mean, if my first couple of months on there, I just kind of like stayed and didn't write anything. You just watch.
yeah,
But that's like the hardcore
E4?
guys. EFOUR. Yeah.
There's some nice collectors, some nice like Japanese collectors that I follow. I don't know their Instagram names off the top of my head, but you know, like Super Duper Danny is a good one. Real Breaking Nate, Not Shiv. Tough question. I should.
He's got a lot of those.
Come
Andrew's
up
got a
with a
lot of
list.
I don't think that was that tough of a question.
That's a hard
to
one.
be fair.
I have to memorize people's Instagram names in order.
And you are
Cracks,
asking
okay.
the preeminent Pokemon content creator, who should people go watch? She
Yeah.
should just say, just Don Diego. That's it.
Strike
There's nobody else.
that from the records.
Don Diego. Done. That's it. Just watch me. That's fun.
Are
Well,
you pumped for the World Cup? I think you're starting to collect soccer cards a little
Yes.
bit too, right?
I have a couple. I have a lot of Mbappe. He's my favorite right now. Yeah, I mean, I love soccer. Obviously, we just figured that out. We both played soccer, so it's always been fun to watch. I'm hoping to actually go to a game. I've never been to a game before, so hoping to go to England for a game one day. That would be awesome. That's one of my goals.
England USA is going to play in the group stages, and I'm still a little bit salty that you said Tyler was your favorite sports card.
Oh
because
no!
Just so you know, Tyler plays a little footy, but
I didn't hear that.
yeah,
I did not say that.
I didn't hear that
only
at
when
all.
I was there did they actually win a soccer championship at Vegas. Only when I was there. They have not won one since.
You guys are my favorite sports podcasters.
Boom. She says that to everyone, but it's okay. It's completely fine. No worries. Nothing to worry about at all. I don't know soccer at all, but I do know Mbappe plays for Barca. So that's I'm just kidding. It's my little soccer joke. I'm kind of dumb. But listen, it's been great having you on. I have to jump off, but before I do, one question for you, if I'm allowed. This is the Women in the Hobby segment, right? You can take this any way you want. Any advice you'd give to a young girl coming up looking to do their own thing? We've already kind of covered that. Any advice you'd give to the men in the hobby who are approached by a woman who wants to do something or not, or who are hesitant to approach a woman in the hobby, maybe to kind of work with them, you name it, anything, especially coming from you, you've done collaborations with some pretty amazing people. I'm not telling the rest of the world to start sliding into DMs and ask to collaborate with you, but you understand where I'm going with it, right? I mean, the goal is to kind of foster this and try to move this forward. So, anything you want to, you can take this anywhere.
Again, just to reiterate, like, be yourself. And again, it's super intimidating if you're a woman and you want to like go to these shows or be involved and you're scared that you're going to get like, judged or social media is going to come for you or you can't go to the show. Like, there's actually plenty of women that do go to shows now that I see. And like, I'm always there. So my door is always open. If you, like need a friend in the hobby or just someone to like talk to, like I always check my DMs. I'm not someone that is like too good to answer their DMs ever. So, just, be yourself and don't be afraid. And, for the men, I don't know, just also don't be weird. Just don't be weird. Like,
by the way, that's clippable too. Guys, just stop being weird. Just don't be weird.
Like, it's just me. Like, I'm just a person in the hobby. Okay. I'm not like a woman and like I am, but you know what I mean? Just like we're people in the hobby. I'm doing the same thing that like these dudes are doing. And I think the work speaks for itself. Like it's not because of me, what I look like. I'm a woman. Like my work speaks for itself. And that's what I have to say to that.
Respect. There's a Women of the Hobby Facebook page that women could join, and they could kind of not like tag along, but you can start forming some bonds with other women going to shows. So it's
and I've seen them actually at the National. They were, I guess, at like a meetup or something, and I also saw them at the Mint. Well, I wasn't there, but I saw pictures of them at the Mint. So like for stuff like that, where you don't like my friends won't go with me to these shows. Like, again, I'm extremely lucky to have my brother to come with me here. But there are groups like that you can join. And there's always a couple chicks at the shows these days. So, and we're getting more and more.
Atlantic City, I bet your friends are going to go. Are you going to national?
Hell yeah, I'm going to national. I'm so excited. It's like an hour from me, so that's very exciting. I'm gonna try to get my friends to go.
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, like are you guys gonna be there?
I'm trying to get a content house. Like, I don't want to go to a hotel room. Like, I think a Jersey Shore type of content house would be hilarious.
Is this happening?
Apparently, it's really hard to find a house down there, but I call BS on that.
He has great ideas, but yesterday when he presented the idea, he said he wanted to make it a house where, where the same house where Ronnie and JWoww hooked up, and I had to explain to him that they never hooked up.
Yeah, they never hooked up.
I mean, Roger's going to come for him. You
don't even know what you're talking about.
I put my foot in my mouth all the time.
I said that's Sam Sweetheart and Ronnie.
First of all, that Cage, that you knew that, like, I love you for that. Like, that's absolutely.
I watch every episode. Are you kidding me? I'm married. I watch what my wife tells me to watch. This is the deal. I know every housewife. I know every MTV show, and I got a Bravo lineup memorized. So we're all set.
Awesome.
We're rocking and rolling.
Awesome.
And I sneak in some sports cards every now and again.
I'm grateful having you on April 12th. Whatnot, only on Whatnot. Don Diego Trading. Do you know the time? Is it afternoon?
It's gonna be 5 p.m. West Coast, 8 p.m. East Coast.
Go support birthday month. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you guys.
Luka Nation, you're the best. Cage, you're the best too.